Are you gearing up to start your social impact work by starting a nonprofit sometime in the next year? I want to help you out. In this video, I'm going to share 20 tips for 2020 that I've picked up that have helped me be successful in starting and growing a new organization. Just a couple of things that I've picked up from some failures and successes of my own. Welcome back. If you are new to this channel, my name is Amber Melanie Smith, and I make these YouTube videos to help aspiring changemakers with tips and strategies to help you change the world while living a life of impact and purpose. So I started my nonprofit organization many years ago, and with a lot of hard work and some incredible team members, supporters, and volunteers, have been able to grow it from nothing to making a good impact in my community. Now I work full-time for this organization so I can continue to oversee its growth and success. So here are 20 tips that I hope will help you out based on what I've learned through this process. Tip number 1, stay up to date and informed on the issue that your nonprofit organization is going to tackle, whether that's hunger or helping animals or the environment, whatever it may be. Make sure you are reading the current research and news at least once a week so that you can stay up to date and be an expert on this topic. Tip number 2, keep your organization's name simple but energizing. If you are still thinking about what to call your new organization, don't make it too complicated. Focus on simple, high energy words that invoke emotion, and you want to really make sure that it's something that's easy to say, easy to spell, easy to remember, and avoids complex acronyms. Tip number 3, study the landscape of who else is doing similar work. Are there other organizations in your area who are tackling the same mission that you are? You want to make sure you know who they are and be able to articulate how you're different or filling a gap that they are not able to fill. Funders and supporters really want to know what makes you different and why they should support your organization, and it is competitive out there. Tip number 4, identify what success looks like for your organization. You want to be able to clearly articulate on paper your specific concrete goals over the next year and 3 years. And do this with numbers. How many people or animals will you help? And how specifically will you be helping them? Will you be giving them homes? Will you be providing them with a meal? Set a concrete goal for this year and then plan backwards to achieve that goal. Tip number 5, figure out how you will measure that success. How exactly will you know if you are accomplishing all that you set out to and helping the people or animals or the environment the way that you intend to? So figure out how you're going to measure and evaluate your progress towards your annual goals, whether that's by collecting testimonials or collecting data or doing surveys or some other way. Funders and supporters need to see and need to know that you're making progress towards your goals. Tip number 6, make sure you're working towards outcomes, not just outputs. An output is the number of something that you produce as an organization. So number of meals served or pounds of clothing supplied to kids in need. An outcome, on the other hand, is how you changed things from the beginning to the end for the better. For example, how you helped a child increase their likelihood of getting into college or helped someone escape the cycle of poverty. Tip number 7, recruit board members based on your goals for the organization for the next 3 years. If you need to triple the amount of people you're serving or raise quadruple the amount of money that you need to operate as an organization, you want to make sure that you are finding and recruiting board members with the skill sets to do those specific things. Tip number 8, flesh out your business plan. You need to have a section on why the world needs your nonprofit. So your needs statement. You need to be able to explain why your organization needs support and how it's different from other organizations doing similar things. Your business plan needs to include how you plan to measure success towards your goals and how you will be able to consistently fundraise to stay sustainable. Tip number 9, find and hone your story. This is the personal story of why you felt the need to get involved in this work in the first place. Hone this message until it's relatable and compelling, and test it on friends to get their feedback. Tip number 10, practice speaking publicly. Being able to present your cause and tell your story in public is a huge and highly impactful way to get support for your cause. This is a critical skill, so if you're nervous, try joining a Toastmasters or other speaking group to practice in a welcoming environment. Tip number 11 is to meet others in person. Whenever possible, meet with supporters, community leaders, volunteers in person. This FaceTime can go a long way in building deep relationships with the friends and supporters of your cause. Tip number 12 is to attend other community and cause-centered events in your area. Doing this will really help you understand the landscape of other organizations and resources who are lifting up the community in your area. Plus, meeting and networking with other people who share your concern for the community can help you build potential supporters for the future. Tip number 13 is make volunteering for your organization easy. You really want to find a low barrier way that people in your community can get involved in your cause. Volunteering is a great way for people to get to know what you're all about and get to know you, and plus, volunteers often become donors in the future. Tip number 14 is to experiment with different fundraising strategies. Fundraising is not a one-size-fits-all game. Some organizations are really good at attracting grants, and it's harder for others. Some are better at cultivating individual donors, and that might be harder for other organizations. So find the strategy and the method that works best for you in your model and make it work. Tip number 15 is to make your life easier by creating a template for those fundraising asks and for grants. If your organization is one that asks for or relies on sponsorships or grants, it could save you some time by writing out the answers to the most common questions you see on those applications so you can refer to them quickly later. Just don't forget to tweak it each time you submit an application to make sure it is customized for that particular funding source. Tip number 16 is to identify your unit cost. This is the true cost that it takes your organization to achieve an outcome. Knowing this information and sharing it with donors can really inspire them to give more because it helps them understand how the amount that they're donating will help your cause. So a great example would be with $100, we can ensure that 20 kids have a meal at lunchtime. Tip number 17 is to thank people. Write those thank you notes quickly and often and regularly. Make sure you are inviting your donors, your volunteers, your supporters to events where you can show them your appreciation. Make sure people in your network know that you are grateful for them regularly. Tip number 18 is to share success stories. I would recommend that you share a success, even a small one, at least once a week on social media. Share the story of someone you helped or some great feedback you got from a supporter. Just make sure that you have their permission to share what they said or their picture on social media before you post. Tip number 19 is to take a break. Make sure that you have enough time for your friends, your family, for personal time, for relaxing. Burnout is real, especially in high pressure startup situations. And my final tip, tip number 20, is do not lose yourself in the process. Starting a nonprofit can be really exciting but all-consuming work. So don't forget your friends, your families, your hobbies, and your other interests during the time when you're working on your dreams to start a nonprofit. You want to make sure you're maintaining a sense of identity outside of your cause. Your mental and emotional well-being in the future will thank you for it. That's it. So I'd really love to hear if you are in the process of starting a nonprofit organization. Where are you in this process? What are your current challenges? And how can the community here help? I really hope you found this video helpful. Good luck to you in your change-making journey. My name is Amber Melanie Smith, and I am a nonprofit founder, executive director, and speaker on social impact, nonprofits, leadership, service, and more. Don't forget to give me a like if you liked this video and subscribe to my channel because I make weekly videos here on YouTube, sometimes more often than that, depends what's going on these topics: how to start a nonprofit, how to have your nonprofit grow and flourish, how to make an impact outside of the nonprofit world, how to do well as a volunteer, and everything. So please subscribe and share with your friends, and I hope to see you here next time. One final comment: if you are on Facebook, don't forget to look up my group, Change the World or Bust. I'm having other conversations with change makers there, and you don't want to miss that. So come on out, check out my group, and I hope to see you there too. Thank you, Happy New Year, have a great 2020, and see you soon.